It's Baby and Mary, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies. Burn after watching.
Welcome to the Burn After Watching podcast.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Borderland.
I'm Mary.
And today we are talking about
George
Miller's Mad Max Furiosa.
Furiosa.
And we're
Let's
also going to
go.
talk about 2015 Mad
14?
Max. 2015, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road, also from George Miller.
Yes, I can't wait.
But before we get started, subscribe. Find us everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, every single place. Spotify podcast, Apple podcast, Amazon podcast. All the places we are there.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe and like and comment.
Yeah.
And also, before we start, just so you know, we will spoil the shit out of this movie.
Yes.
If you are not ready to have a full conversation talking about all the little detail that we like and don't like. So yeah.
Yes. Let's
get
start,
started.
my love. Yeah.
2015 Mad Max Fury Road.
One of my favorite movies, action movies. I love it.
Me too. So we just rewatched it.
Yeah.
And this was my first rewatch since seeing it. I didn't see it in theater. I saw it out of theater, and I saw it that one time, and that's it.
Yeah.
I-
I had rewatched it in 2020, like during the pandemic. And I really, really enjoyed it as much as when it came out. And this week, or like 2 weeks ago, we rewatched it.
That's a big thing. So I think I never seen it in theater, so I think obviously it would have been even more impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a pretty good screen and sound system, and seeing it like in pretty good experience at home. I think I enjoyed it a lot, but I think for a movie that is so like its sole focus is action. Obviously, the theater, IMAX, those kind of screen, it's all about the experience. It's gonna hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
There's very little in terms of story or like character arc.
In the first one?
Well, there's like the characters have some depth, but it's not like we are exploring those characters in and out, their motivation, which is kind of like my type of film. It's very much, you know, enough to care about what's happening, but it's all about the action.
For sure, it's about the action. Because the movie starts and Charlize Theron, which I adore in this movie, is kind of running away with some pregnant women that are dressed all in white. And we kind of understand, you know, that she's running away, but we don't understand clearly why. So
Yeah.
I get when you say that it's more based on the action than telling the story, because we don't understand why she lost her arm. We only get to understand this in Furiosa.
But even Mad Max, we don't know much about him.
No.
We don't know. We don't have a good sense of why does he care about the things that he does care about. Like at first, it seems like you just want to get his car, then you just basically try to survive. And there's something refreshing. Like let's not get cumbersome. Let's not get like too much into the why. This is about action. Here's a guy. Here's what he wants. Here's a girl. Here's what she wants.
They
and
team
let's
up.
go. Right?
Yeah.
But I do think that it's great for a first watch. But on a second and third watch, this is where, like, to me, when I'm thinking when I say a movie is rewatchable, is that there's something that I've missed the first time that I can maybe discover the second time. Or like there's something that you can keep digging in, and then you start seeing the character a little bit differently because there's nuance and there's things that shift your interpretation.
But clearly, I think that Mad Max is not trying
100%.
to do that.
No.
It's an action movie. And I think what's cool about it is all the DA, the costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember how I felt the first time I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Visually,
Yep.
like the trucks, the guys that were kind of on a pole.
Yeah.
And like all the action. So to me, that movie is,
It's all about
it's
action.
doing what it's proposing to us. And I agree with you. Like, clearly on a second or a third watch, maybe it's
It's not as exciting because
Well,
I've seen it once. I know what's coming.
Yeah, but when we rewatched it like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I had a good time and it was
100%.
entertaining and I think for a movie that's 10 years old, almost 10 years old, it's aging pretty well compared to some of action movies
Yep.
that are trying, there's not a little bit of action. It's
It's
a
almost
lot of action.
all of it.
Yeah. And
All I'm saying is that I understand that's what the film wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's doing amazing at what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think for me, now that I'm the one watching it,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate what they were doing. I really had a good time the first time. I had a good time the second time. But I think the more you watch it, the less and less like it will become appealing. Like still, you can still look at great, like beautifully shot film. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool visually. But there's a lot of very cool visual film that also have a lot more depth. See, like
what?
I'm thinking about Dune. See, Dune to me,
That's not comparable to me.
why not? Dune is a lot of great action, beautiful visually, but to me,
it's a
there's
very
a lot more.
complex story, and
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
based
saying.
on a book.
Yeah, but like
So I think
the book doesn't
there's
change.
a big difference.
I don't think it changed the fact that you can have depth. Like Gladiator, beautiful visually, great action, a lot of depth, a lot of things to dig in with those
To
characters.
me, though, it's really different.
Yeah, I know it's different. But I'm saying
And
I
I
prefer
think,
that.
like, Mad Max was ahead of its time with the DA and the world they built in which the characters are evolving. But I understand what you say, and I don't disagree with you.
I'm talking about
But
preference,
it's very,
not intent.
Yeah. It's super unique, though. The world they built and, like, every action scene is really cool to me.
And I mean, we haven't seen the first three,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I assume the aesthetic is probably very similar, and it was obviously leveraging work from the first three movies to be able to accomplish what it wanted to be. So it's not. It is unique because it is still amazing visually.
But I understand what you're trying to say, because we're not going to talk about Furiosa right now, but I get what you're saying. The story is just like we're running away. Then there's like a car chasing, the truck chasing. Yeah.
And it's not that you can make a movie about that, but you need a bit more meat, for me, personal taste, around the character. Because you can have a very simple story, but if the character have a lot to them, then when you return, it's like you learn a new part of their personality.
I think that's why you really liked Furiosa, because it gave
It's
part of the story that you needed.
It's a lot more.
It explains
focus,
more why
in depth,
and where they're coming from and everything. Yeah,
you get to learn character a lot more. I still think it's not a perfect film, but to me, Mad Max, it's the best. So it's the best kind of style, no substance that you can have. Like it is style over substance, but it's so well done that I'm like, sure, sign me up for style over substance. Versus like Blade Runner 2049, it's style and substance. I still didn't love it because I'm not a big sci-fi, like futuristic kind of movie. But when you do style over substance, it has to be amazing. And I think they were amazing. But for me personally, like if you look at my favorite film, it's all about substance before style. Even though like The Lighthouse have both, great if you can have both. But I would rather have characters that I can really dig in over just a cool shot.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, because to me, Gladiator is like really different, but there's a lot of action, really cool action, and the story is, the characters are well fleshed out, the story is interesting.
I want to talk about a few of the like big action pieces. I think the one that you mentioned with the guy floating around, that's my favorite set piece
of action.
Action. I do like the part where they go into this weird kind of, there's like weird like animals on like sticks kind of walking around.
Huh?
Yeah, like I think they're driving at night, and in the background you see kind of those weird, I don't know how to, it's like almost like Dali's elephant. They're on a large stick, and then they get to the point where they meet the older woman And they're like, oh, I thought the green place was
And
here.
they're like, it's
They're
not
like, no,
existing anymore.
you didn't see the creature thing at night? That's where the green place used to be. That's a part of the universe that I like that they barely mention it, and it's just there. And it means there's so much more to the world that there's so much that it's like we don't even have time to like focus on this weird animal. Maybe we'll come back it later.
Yeah.
And, like maybe we'll come back to it later, and that's cool. But at the same time, I feel like a missed opportunity to like continue look, because we see like lizard and stuff like this, but we don't really see animals, right? And there's a dog. There's dogs. in Furiosa, I think. I don't know if there was some in Mad Max, but there's probably a bunch of interesting thing there, right? To like explore as well, like in terms of even both film really happen in like a very small section of the world. It's the Citadel, Bullet Town, Gas Town, and the Green Place. That's kind of like all you see.
In Mad Max.
Yeah, but even in Furiosa.
Well, you see different wastelands.
Yeah.
A few, like 3, I think.
You see a few things, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like as if I wish some elements that are talked about in Furiosa were integrated in Mad Max to have a little bit more substance to understand. Like, but it would have been too long of a movie, but
you can cut a car scene or something. I do like the villains, Immortal Joe.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I was reading that this was a first-time actor.
Oh, yeah?
And he passed away, so this was his only role ever.
Is it the guy with the... Yeah. Like, he's all white?
Yeah, the main villain.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
And the white boy, what did they call him? Is it white boy?
I don't know.
Like, I really like... See, that's another thing, the cult religion aspect, which I know you're into.
What?
Like the cult religion.
I'm not in a cult or religion.
No, but you like things about cult.
Yes.
But that's really cool because...
I'm fascinated to understand, like, who... Anyways.
That's such a cool thing, right? They all, like, worship the wheel.
Yeah.
There's Immortal Joe that is, like... But also those white boy, when they're about to, like, basically kill themselves to, like, try to do something for the Citadel, they're going to spray paint, like, their face silver.
Their teeth. And
then they're just going to scream, like, Valhalla! And then they're just going to, like, kill themselves.
But they relive, no?
No. Well,
they die?
Some don't die. They're doing this. I think it's kind of like it's almost like kamikaze, kind of like part of their religion, where they're willing to die for Immortal Joe.
Yeah.
So they go Valhalla, and then they kill themselves.
Do they go Valhalla?
Valhalla. I think it's
Are you sure
heaven.
about this?
I think they do. They say something like that.
Oh boy.
And they spray paint their face. That's a cool. The whole religion aspect of the Citadel is cool, but again, we know nothing about it.
I don't see it as a religion, really. I see it as just, kind of a dictatorship.
But it's like a cult, right? Because he controlled the water.
Yeah.
And people are willing to die for him. He has like his own army, but they are fanatics. Like nobody would spray paint their face and just like commit, like kill themselves in the name of the survival of the Citadel.
Yeah. The other character that I really like, I don't know what his name is, but it's the big guy that has, like, his costume is so cool. Yeah. He has shirts.
Like a suit.
He has holes in his shirt. Yeah, he's wearing a suit. And he has hole where his nipples are with like a kind of piercing and a chain. He has like a nose piece. That's really cool. When I'm talking about the aesthetic, the DA, and like all the costumes, I'm willing to forgive a little bit more of like...
I agree.
The lack of substance to the story, because even like in Furiosa, I was wondering if he'd be there, and he's wearing a gas mask on his genitals.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just so different and fun, and
like I love all this stuff. I just wish we learned a bit more about
why
all of this. Like and
we kind of understand more in Furiosa.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I do think that we don't need to know everything. I think it's fine if we want to be focused on being an action film.
Yeah.
But there's so much... I have so much question. Yeah. When the movie ends, it's like, but what about this? What about the weird creature?
I'm wondering, though, because... Maybe. We didn't see...
The first three.
The first three, I mean.
And there's a new...
Maybe they explain. And, like, some people could write in comments...
Maybe, if you know.
You guys, if you didn't watch the 3 first, that's why you don't understand. I assume they maybe explain...
I feel like...
The world.
Maybe.
It would make sense. I mean, what are the 3 first movies about if they're not explaining anything?
Maybe just more of that. action.
And I was wondering, because back in the 70s, the technology was quite different. I was wondering, I'd be really interested in seeing those movies because the action must have been quite different,
So the funny thing is, the first one I think is in black and white.
Okay.
And when George Miller filmed Fury Road, he wanted to release it in black and white. That's how he envisioned the film, and that's what he wanted. I assume the production company said no. They were like, no way, right?
Well,
because it's so much harder to sell, and also like it feels like such a wasted.
You lose a lot of everything that's the aesthetic, the white guys, everything is gray. So
they did release a version in black and white for the 4K.
Oh yeah.
It's called Black and Chrome edition, but it's interesting too that like he wanted it to be black and white. When the most kind of impactful thing for me is the visual, is the color.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the action is amazing, but like without all the color and like all the just without the actual visual.
Yeah.
I feel like is it still an amazing film, like an amazing action film? Like it's probably slightly below what it is now to me if it was in black and white. But it's interesting that I don't know why you want it to be black and white. I guess I don't know if it's like
it's
a
probably
lore.
explained somewhere. I'm going to save this movie.
Yep.
I really like it, and I'll give it a 3.5.
I think it's a 4 for me. I remember seeing it. I used to think it was like a 4.5. I think it's a 4 is solid, and it's definitely a save.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like so they have a sequel coming up. Well, they have a sequel. So now you'll have a new trilogy. Furiosa will be technically the first one. Mad Max, and then the sequel, which is called Mad Max: The Wasteland.
Okay.
Which should close kind of this arc. So I'm interested to see how that will play off.
Yeah, me too.
Because to me, Mad Max Fury Road was better than Furiosa. So I hope that it's going to end, on a high note. And like it's going to go back to more of the Mad Max.
Yeah.
Even though I should like Furiosa more, but
Why?
I don't.
Why?
Because it has more character.
I don't like Furiosa more, so we can talk about this now.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Furiosa. With Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, a few guys coming back.
To me, the first 30, 40 minutes were a bit long. And I understand that it's trying to put in place the Greenland and everything and how Furiosa got kidnapped and everything. But to me, it was a little bit long. I found it a little bit cliche as well. In the way of illustrating the green place with the wind turbine, everyone wearing blue, the fruits, the trees. Like, I understand that it's the green place, but to me it felt a little bit cliche. Also, maybe a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I didn't love Dementus in this movie.
The villain.
Yeah, the villain. I didn't love his costumes, like the chains and the teddy bear because he lost a child, and like his beard going to red when they shotgun like blood in the air. Yeah, and like his whole parachute thing in the back. And he was comical. We talked about this and you were saying, it's kind of not too serious and silly, but I really didn't love his character in this movie. It's like not a great villain.
So that's the thing, right? You have two villains in this film. You have the same guy, Immortal Joe, and then you have Dementus. So I agree with you. I didn't love it, but I do understand that they wanted them to feel a bit different. You don't want to have just two like bad villainous, like exactly like just super serious villain in the same film, or like it's gonna be hard because also I think a lot of the thing that Chris Hemsworth, the Dementus character, does, it is a bit more comical. You know who it remind me of? Yeah, Jack Sparrow. That's true. I remember that too. Some of his mannerisms. Yes, and I was like, no, please. But I don't mind it in the context of you have the other villain, and this is kind of like the buffoon who's trying to be a villain, but he's not really doing that well. Right. Like he's messing not there up yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's not the performance of the year. Anya Taylor-Joy I liked. And it's surprising, like, she's not there for the first 40 minutes of the film, 45 minutes. But just going back to, like, things I didn't like. First of all, I don't understand why they started the film with, like, exposition from, like, news clip explaining how Mad Max, like...
Yeah. Like in the newspaper?
Yeah, like, basically with bits of, like, news report.
Because I assume they wanted to make it feel like...
But we already know.
I know.
I guess...
Like the before, it was a normal world, and then newspapers started talking about it, and then the whole world crumbled down. But I agree with you.
Even
it felt like
Mad Max Fury Road didn't do that. Like, you had Tom Hardy do a little speech about how humanity got there, but it was a lot more. It was less obvious and less like here's everything exactly that happened.
Yeah.
It was more like, man lost his blah blah blah. It was a lot more like, I guess, philosophical, where this was like just exposition. And I also feel like it's the second film. I understand some people might not have seen Mad Max Fury Road.
It's the first at the same time, so maybe they were trying to.
I guess in the future people might watch this one before the other one.
Yeah.
But I still think it was clumsy. And the other thing I didn't like, and I never like, is they put chapters.
Yes, you don't.
They wrote
like that.
chapter 1, The Wasteland. Chapter 2,
completely like takes us out of the movie.
Just useless. You don't need it.
I agree with you.
It's really doesn't change anything to like how you tell your story.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. I agree with you. The first 40 minutes, which is where Furiosa is a child.
Yeah.
And you learn how she got kidnapped and how she basically got brought to the Citadel before. And then after that, Anya Taylor-Joy, like, we do a big time jump. And then this is where like the main story happened. It was long.
Yeah, but though in that first part that was long, I like that we saw her mother, and we get to know more of how she is, how determined she is.
Her motivation.
She can ride the motorcycle. She's very into, plants and growing. She even gives her a seed, which she keeps, that I liked.
Yeah.
That I really liked. And she says, ride the motorcycle back home, and she basically sacrifices her life for her daughter, because at first in Mad Max I was like, what happened? Like, how did she get kidnapped? And I like that they explain this, and I like the mother's character.
That was good. You really get to understand, I think, if you watch Mad Max after this, why she's so determined to save the woman, how she got where she is, how she got also into
her purpose.
But like, her position to have access to the truck, to be a truck driver, to be like basically like a double agent in a way, 100%. Where like she's believed by the people for the Citadel, but she has this older motive that is like she's working in the shadow type of thing. Yeah. And like in the film Furiosa end exactly at the beginning, well, not beginning, but kind of like
she
where
leaves
Mad
with the
Max
women.
start. Yeah, exactly.
That was
she prepped the truck. Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah. Anya in this movie, when
I liked her.
We first see her, I didn't mind her. She was good. To me though, Charlize Theron in Mad Max, we got to know her better because she speaks more. There's more action. I felt like Anya in Furiosa got driven by the action. She wasn't driving the action, except that one moment when Jack gets caught in like this wasteland, and she got out with the car before, and she decides to go back to save him.
In Bullet Town, yeah.
Yes, I like that. That was cool. That was a really cool scene.
But they explain why she doesn't talk a lot.
Well,
right?
She's traumatized. She's scared of men. That was well done.
But for
it's
the
first time she trusts the men.
For all 40 minutes, like, it's explained. She never talks.
Yeah.
She's
even like, they think, sorry, I cut you off.
No. They think she's mute.
And they think she's a boy.
Yeah.
To protect herself, she
did that on
cuts her
purpose.
hair.
Yeah. That's when she tried to escape.
Yeah, because she realized, when that big guy comes to see her at night, she's like, okay, I'm the next one who's going to get pregnant,
Yeah, well, yeah,
So,
they basically like have this little harem of women to... Yeah. Because Immortal Joe is trying to have
kids.
Sons.
Yeah, sons.
Right. So she, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then there's another scene when the demon what's his name?
Dementus?
God. Dementus goes to meet Immortal Joe, and they're kind of in a cave, and they're trying to make a deal where Immortal Joe wants Furiosa and this other guy. And that whole scene, and like another scene where, he gets his nipples.
Torn off.
Yeah, I was like, I had a flashback of Dune by David Lynch when it was almost comical. I was like, what's happening? Like,
but I think it wanted to be comical.
Yeah, but for me,
they want you to believe that Immortal Joe is the true villain because he's the one that actually is going to make it out.
Yeah.
Dementus is only there
but he was okay, yeah, sorry.
Well, like Dementus is there to be, it's the villain to Furiosa, but he's not the villain of the entire story.
Yeah.
Right? So we know that Immortal Joe is going to keep on living because he's in the next film.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they don't want Dementus to appear too menacing.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, am I talking too much?
No, go for it.
I was waiting the whole movie for the action shot. I was really on the edge of my seat waiting to have that feeling that I had with Mad Max, the truck scene.
Yeah.
And it's as if like there was really good action scenes, but not as good as in Mad Max.
I personally think that chapter 3, which is the first one where Anya Taylor-Joy is there.
On the truck.
The big truck scene, it's about like 15-20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where basically some of the men of Dementus basically like decide to not be with him and they go rogue. And then they attack the truck as the truck brings food to Dementus in exchange for the gas, which is the deal he made with Immortal Joe. That scene where they attack the truck and then at some point they have a parachute or they parasailing and they are on their bike and then they pull and then they start floating up in the air and they start attacking from above. That scene to me was as good as any scene in Mad Max, but it's very long.
I don't agree.
It's very long. It's 15 minutes long and it's very intense. That to me is the only time where they reach the same level. Everything else was good, but not as great as Mad Max, except that one to me it is.
Yeah, I don't agree. There were good action scenes, but not as good. Then there's another moment where Furiosa and what's the name? Jack. Yeah. When Furiosa and Jack get caught by Immortal Joe, and they decide to hang Anya Taylor by the arm.
Oh no! Wait! They get caught by Dementus.
And so they hang Anya by Furiosa by the arm. Yeah. And they tie up Jack behind a car, making him
with dogs
run,
eating him.
Yeah. And then Demon whatever goes on the top of his truck, and he's having like a whiskey or whatever, and it goes on because you can tell with the lighting. And then at one point he's like, "Okay, stop this, everything." And we go to the scene where we only see like her arm with the blood dripping, and I wish because she got in a car
I like that scene.
I wish it was different. I was
what else you don't like about it?
Okay, first of all, cutting an arm, I have already read on this because I was interested. Cutting off your own arm is really hard.
But it was already dismantled.
Right, but she was hanging. It was tied up. I don't know. I just wish it was different. I wish she lost her arm in the car chase.
So yeah, her arms get stuck between two tire while they're going through
between two cars.
Between the tire of two cars while they in the middle of a pursuit. So I think it's probably broken off and just holding on by like muscle and skin. Yeah. So even just hanging, I don't think she cut it. I think it just actually tear apart. Yeah, ripped apart. Yeah. And to me, that I really like the shot. I know we're not a fan of those time lapse where we saw time go fight. I really like the execution. There's a few times to do that. I have no problem with it. It is a bit jarring because you don't see it done like this in movies. It's almost like those YouTube video where they'll show you a plant growing in 40 days, but in 1 minute. It's kind of that effect, but it's on purpose. They do that effect where it feels like a bit jumpy. But I liked overall the approach. I thought it was interesting. They do it another time with a tree growing through like
the wig.
our wig that she made.
Yeah.
And I had no problem with that. Like they do a few other transition like this from night to day.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was fine. Like it's better than just cutting without context to me. At least there's an attempt to like make it interesting to like transition in time.
Yeah.
But like I do think that overall like there was a lot of long kind of stretches without action. And like yes, you get to know the character, but at some point it's like you stop really learning and it's just more like, all right, like more and more of the same, and it doesn't feel like it's adding enough to justify the time spent around it.
Yeah, it was long. I felt that it was long.
And it is convoluted. And one thing that I didn't like is, so at some point, now Dementus has control over Guntown and Gastown. And then there's like this idea of like they are marching towards the Citadel, and then the Citadel will attack back. And then it's going to be they call it the 40-day war.
Yeah. Oh, and, yeah, they explain this.
And it's like basically what they do is that I thought the movie was about to end because it goes into slow-mo, and then there's a narrator that comes in and this is what they call the 40-day, then started the 40-day war between Dementus and Immortal Joe. And it feels like, okay, you're not showing us the big battle or the war. You're just going to show us like little pieces.
Yeah.
And then because the narrator come in, it's like, oh, okay, so they must end the film and maybe the next film will focus on the war. I don't know. But no, like they just overlook that and then they move on maybe like 5-10 minutes later and then the narrator's just gone.
Yeah. And
it felt a bit like this, like 2 or 3 times I felt like, okay, the movie's about to end.
Yeah.
It feels like it's wrapping up. No, there's another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like it feels like now we're wrapping up. No, there's another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the film is only 2 hours and like 10 minutes. But the last 40 minutes feels like it keeps ending, but it's never ending. It's almost like Lord of the Ring, the last one.
Yeah.
It just feels like it keeps trying to like wrap up. And it's important to wrap up all the arc, especially for something like Lord of the Ring. There's so much story, but here
but that
it
I
felt
can
unnecessary.
understand. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
And the last kind of one-on-one with Dementus and Anya.
Yeah.
I understand like there's a lot of tension because that it's
Of her
finally the
mother.
revenge.
Yes, because he killed and
Kill her mother.
yeah, but not only killed but made her suffer, you know.
Yeah. So it's our time. It's mostly, I think, about her mother, right? No, actually, it's about everything.
Revenge.
And it's the last moment, and I feel like it's stretched to a point where a lot of the tension get lost.
Yeah,
where
I
like
agree
you
with
like,
you.
oh, she's about to give it to him, but it's like, no, we're gonna stretch this out and more. I did like
and maybe it's to make us feel what he's going through.
but I
like
want to
a
feel what she's
slow-
going through.
Yeah.
Which I feel like she would just kill him right away.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to do that. You know, she wants to slow revenge because the chapter's name is like more than revenge or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I just feel
Would
like
make
in
sense.
terms of watching a film,
Yeah.
I guess it
it
was too
long.
stretched out.
I agree. And then we finally see him. There's like a tree that's grown into him. Because she was carrying that seed that her mom gave her. So it's as if
The peach
like
seed,
he ate it, and then there's a tree. He's still living, but he's super old, and there's a fruit that's grown, and then she goes to meet all the women and give them the
Eat the
fruit,
fruit.
and then leave with the truck. So that was well done.
It's a nice way to close the
Yeah,
story.
but the tree thing, I don't know. Like, it's okay.
It's
I was like,
fantastical a bit.
Yes.
Where like instead of killing him, she brings him back to the Citadel
Yeah, plants the seed in him.
or
yeah.
use him as, but he's still alive.
Yeah.
And then and it's funny, the fruit.
I'm kind of thinking of something.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when you think that men would plant their seed
Yes, exactly.
in the women to have children. And so it's as if her artificially planted the fruit seed in him, and then the tree grew with fruit.
Yeah.
I just got this. You had already got it?
Well, like that's what I was about saying. Like it's the idea that the fruit of the man is now feeding the woman.
Yeah.
Versus,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
It is
cool. I like
fantastical the
this.
way it's done. Like I was saying, it
I
reminded
like
me of the
this.
lighthouse, the end with the
Yes.
seagull.
Yeah.
It's kind of like odd, twisty, fantastical. You almost feel like, even in the film, it's the narrator come back and they said some people say she killed him. Some people
Yeah.
say she let him like just die
Yeah.
of hunger. But one legend says she. So it's not
No,
even.
someone whispered in my ear.
Yeah. that she bring-
Furiosa whispered in my ear.
Yeah. So it's presented as if it was not necessarily 100% real.
I like that now. That was cool.
It's
really
visually, though, I understand. It's almost Tim Burton a bit, too.
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
Big Fish. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like the ending, and I think it's well done to wrap it to
And they wrap up also at some
Mad
point
Max.
the way Mad Max Fury Road start, where Tom Hardy is next to his car on top of a hill.
yeah,
We see that shot at the same time. Exactly when would have that happened
in comparison.
to the timeline of Furiosa?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Like they do tie up a few things like this,
Yeah.
which I like that.
Me too. So overall, it's just
It's a bit long.
It's a bit long. Yeah. And
But-
there's some details that to me there was a lot of time spent on, and I wish it was used somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Immortal Joe and the guy with the nipples and the
Yeah.
the
Little
Citadel
gang.
people,
Yeah.
that was really cool. Like nothing changed from Mad Max really, except the upgrade for the gas mask on his genitals. I was
Yeah.
saying the costumes are really cool, but Dementius gang, to me, that was not great.
The bikers.
Yeah, I was like, meh.
I like some of their thing. Like
Yeah, some of
I know you
them.
didn't like his triple bicycle
Ugh,
horse
yeah.
courage, but I thought it was cool, like Gladiator a bit.
I don't
And
know. It felt cheap.
we learn a bit more about like the people of the Citadel, like the girl,
Yeah.
the woman with the maggot that live on the ground.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, stuff like
Yuck.
this.
that was disgusting.
Yeah.
When she woke up with her arm cut off with the
And you see her like
Yeah.
build her own arm, like
Yeah.
her own mechanical arm.
Yeah.
There's also she does the Remember Me, which she brought back to Immortal Joe as well.
Yeah.
In the second one. So like that's interesting too.
yeah.
There's a lot of like tied in, like it
Yeah.
feels very much in symbiosis with the first one, but it's very different in its approach. And they are actually, how long is the first one? So this one is 220. So it's about 20 minutes longer, but you really feel it.
But I think it's in the pacing of the movie. Like maybe because I keep saying the way that the scenes are
Edited, broke down
like no
the chapters, like how scene sequence, like the sequence of scenes.
yeah, it feels like not super natural, or I don't know. It's the pacing or something. It's just too much time explaining how she was kidnapped.
Yeah. So the first part of the movie, I think you can cut 30% of it.
Yeah.
Just tied this up a bit. I think that also a lot of just long shot of people driving, which I understand, but like it's not the action scene, just like driving for like a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
I think you could have cut that down a bit. I understand though. Oh, wait. The CGI. We
Oh
forgot to talk.
shit, yeah.
I don't understand how this came out 10 years after the first one, and
Yeah.
the CGI looks so much worse. I assume they had a smaller budget maybe, but I don't understand
know.
why.
I don't know.
It looked like
Not always, but the
most
fire,
of the time.
like
The fire was
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And the car was not too bad. Sometimes the cars was bad. There's just a few shots that are like the fire was the most outrageous one. It looks terrible. Like
Oh, yeah.
you can do that on your computer right now. Really bad.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, because I read this week, but Anya
Yeah.
doesn't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that when you see her drive that specific moment to get out of the, I don't know.
I think it's Bullet Town.
Yeah, to get out of Bullet Town with the car and everything. I was like, oh, that's cool. That, it's a wild first experience.
I think I like Anya Taylor-Joy in this, or I like the casting at least, because it's not a role that have a lot of lines. She barely talk.
Yeah.
But Anya Taylor-Joy has very expressive
Oh, yeah,
eyes,
her
huge
eyes.
eyes.
Yeah.
And you need someone that can communicate a lot of of emotion
Yeah.
just visually
Oh,
because
yeah.
the character does not have a lot to, she doesn't express herself vocally. It's a lot of like just expression. And I think that was a good move. Chris Hemsworth, like I know you didn't like the fake nose. I didn't mind it. It's obviously, it looks silly, but I think it's on purpose.
He looks like a wrestler.
But I think it's on purpose, right? They want
Yeah,
him to look a
maybe.
bit silly.
Yeah. And to me, Anya, the choice of Anya makes sense with then after it being Charlize Theron.
I like
Because
I
at
like
the
pairing,
end,
yeah.
she's wearing the exact same costume.
Yep.
As,
Shave her hair.
Yeah, and she has like the all the bells at her waist and everything. So yeah,
They kind of look alike.
not really, but
Aside, like in the films,
Yeah.
I think if you put them side by side, it
Costume,
works.
hair and
It's
everything, yeah.
believable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I'm going to save this movie.
I think to me it's a save.
Yeah,
It's a 3.5. Maybe if I watch it again, it will go down to 3.
me it's a 3
I don't
because I,
think it can
gave
go up.
3.5 to Mad Max, so it's a 3. But I
Yeah.
would save it.
So I want to have a quick chat because now it's been Furiosa.
Why are you saying it like it's
I
Spanish
can't say
word?
it.
It's there's no
Furiosa.
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 Mad Max 1. No, it's 2. But it's 2, but it's 1. The sequel. The prequel. So Mad Max, Fall Guy.
What?
What's the other film we saw that I had high expectation you didn't? Challenger.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Where do you feel this year is at in terms of movie quality so far compared to last year?
Well, let me just say this. Thank God
For Dune.
For Dune.
Yeah. Dune is really saving it.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to release last year. Imagine this year
Oh
without
my
Dune.
God. Yeah.
How painful.
It's
Because we almost had the 6 month. We almost
Yeah.
had the half year point.
well, I can't wait to see Kinds of Kindness.
Oh, did you know Jesse Plemons just won Best Actor at Cannes for Kinds
yeah.
of Kindness?
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know that. I love him.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really good. He was good in the movie, the photography war thing.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Another
Civil War was this
disappointment.
year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yes, thank God for Dune because honestly,
Love Lies Bleeding was great.
yeah, Love Lies Bleeding was great, and that's it.
I mean, there was a lot of good film, but I'm talking about great.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. I know it's so fucking far. It's basically Christmas, but I can't wait for Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for Kinds of Kindness. What else?
Joker.
Yeah, but I know that I'm going to be disappointed. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love Lady Gaga, but I've seen the previews and like, is this about singing now? Because it's a musical.
Yeah.
And I loved the first one. I watched it like 4 times, but I know I'm going to be disappointed. And Gladiator 2,
Yep.
I know I'm going to be disappointed as well. Have you heard Russell Crowe talk about Gladiator?
I'll put it in
Gladiator
here if I
2?
can find it.
They should be fucking paying me for the amount of questions I've had to answer about the film that I'm not even in. I don't know anything about the cast. I don't know anything about the plot. Well, I wouldn't, would I? Because I'm dead.
Oh my God. I wonder if it's a joke though, and he's going
I don't
to
think
be
it's a
in
joke.
it.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think a studio would want him to say, "Stop asking me about this fucking movie."
Yeah.
If he like, it would be bad publicity to have the mega star from your first
Yeah.
one say that.
Yeah.
I think he's literally like he doesn't know.
No.
He's not part of the film.
No, he said, I'm dead.
And just like stop
That's
asking
it.
me questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess there's a movie called Sing Sing. Apparently, it's gonna be interesting. So the movie that won at Cannes this year is Anora. So this is the movie from Sean Baker, and it's the guy that did the Florida Project. So
Okay.
that one, the Palme d'Or. Grand Tour from Miguel Gaume won the Grand Prix, which is like the jury prizes.
'Kay.
Then actually there's a movie called Emilia Perez. It's with Zoe Saldana. Selma Gomez won Best Actress.
Oh, I seen
For
that
this
this
film.
week on Instagram. Yeah.
I
I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know. I didn't even
So technically, all 3 actresses for this film won Best Actress.
really.
They give it to all 3 of them. So I don't know if maybe they play the same character at different time in life, and that's
maybe.
why,
Okay.
or I don't know. It's weird that all three won from the same movie. It feels like almost, can you even do that? Anyway, Jesse Plemons won. And then Mongrel, which is a Thai movie, won Best Cinematography or Best Achievement in Visual. So those seem interesting, but those are a smaller film.
That's fine.
And then there's a movie called Conclave, which I show you. It's about like not the Pope, but the Cardinal. The Pope died, and they have 72 hours to vote. And it seems like the most basic film, but it seems so awesome.
It's your type.
Totally my type.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, I keep saying this, but last year was such a great year for movies that this year, I mean,
it's still early.
It's still early, but
I feel like, gosh,
yeah,
it's not looking good so far.
Nope.
Kinds of Kindness didn't win anything else.
I don't care about that though.
It's 3 hours long.
I don't care.
I'm still interested.
I love him. And I love Emma Stone.
Yep.
I love Jesse Plemons.
Yep.
I love
Willem
Dafoe. So I can't wait. That's
wait.
soon. That's
June.
like June 21st
End
or
of
something.
June.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a few like interesting, like The Crow, the remake of The Crow.
Yeah.
The Twister 2 or Twisters.
Yeah.
Like I want to see that.
I really wanted to see Amy Winehouse biopic.
Back to Black.
Yeah, I heard so many
Terrible.
bad reviews that were like only focusing on her addiction problem, like, and not, highlighting her amazing voice, career, and everything. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just watch it at home.
And I think the big thing with that is that she was a very private person. She didn't want her personal life to be... She wanted everything to be about her music. And now they go make a film and they make it all about her private life. It's almost disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like she didn't want people to focus on her abusive relationship and all of this. And now you go and make a movie only about that. It's like, didn't you just listen?
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, I guess.
I have a problem with like this is not a remake, right? It's it's a part 2 or something.
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Like I have a problem with sequels that are made
20 years after.
Yes.
Yes. I get that.
Yes. And I have a problem with sequels, bottom line. Like not Dune or whatever based on a book, but like Toy Story, okay? They made the first one, then the second one, the third one were good. Please, like...
The fourth one was good.
It was okay.
With the Canadian guy, it was Kaboom. It was good. To me, I don't care.
It depends.
As long as you have a good story.
Done. Yeah.
It can be... See, Joker seems like we made $1 billion with the first one. We're making a second one.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Gladiator feel like this.
Gladiator.
Yeah. Now, Mad Max is technically a sequel.
Yeah. But
it took 20 years.
But at least, though,
30
like
years.
the story makes sense,
But you don't know until you've seen it if it makes sense or not.
Gladiator is like...
But what if it's great? It could be great.
We'll see.
I understand it's your favorite film of all time, so it's never going to be as good. But if it's good, then I'm happy.
At least Joaquin Phoenix. Is he in there?
No, he's dead.
Oh, yeah, that's true. My God. They're both dead.
It's Pedro Pascal.
I just wanted to say this week we watched Matrix.
Was that last week, I think?
We didn't talk about this.
But see, that's another one that all the sequels suck.
No, the second one to me was all right.
Well, see?
Was all right.
I mean, it's not too bad to do sequel. 2024 so far, it's mid. It's
Let
big
us
mid.
know. I'd like to read in the comments.
What's your favorite film?
Yeah.
Of this year?
Dune? Do you feel like
Monkey
us?
Man?
Or I don't want to see Monkey Man.
Dan loved it. He said it's better than Dune.
Okay, Dan.
I told
Call
him.
me.
I
We need
told
to
him.
talk.
I told him, are you serious?
Are you serious?
Are you serious? Monkey Man?
Man, Dan.
Monkey Boy? We haven't seen Kingdom of the Thing of the Ape.
I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Thank you so much for listening and
Monkey movies
watching.
are trending.
Have a great day.
Ciao.
Bye.
Gucci.